The top student gets locked in a gym equipment room, and the one who locked him in is a soft, adorable teen. You thought it would end like this? But no, things take a bit of a weird turn, with forced drama unfolding step by step. Closing in, the teen can't hold back and explodes. Who really is the villain twisting the rules? The teen was supposed to be a bright star of the 21st century. After dying young, he ascends to the heavenly realm and becomes a little rabbit spirit. Unfortunately, the fun times don't last long because after accidentally nibbling on a carrot grown by the heavenly emperor, he gets punished by heaven and must complete tasks across 3,000 worlds. The first world is a boy love novel. In school, Tavanthum and Meng Jue have been classmates for 3 years, secretly loving each other, and finally, their love blossoms. But he becomes the villain, and Ina, who has a crush on Meng Jue, must do everything to keep them apart. In the end, he gets taken down by the main characters, so the mission is considered complete. The first step is to prevent Tavanthum from meeting the new transfer student, Meng Jue, and thus, a dramatic scene unfolds, where Tavanthum is uncomfortable, struggling, asking, "Who are you? What do you want?" I, Lang Te, the villain, respond with a creepy smile. "Your brilliance is too dazzling. It'll attract someone's attention, so you must be eliminated." Tavanthum looks a bit dazed, thinking, "What you're doing is a crime." But unexpectedly, the other grabs his hair, forcing him to look up. "You're a good student who loves to preach morals. I've knocked you out and tied you up, and you still care about that?" Tavanthum grits his teeth. "Who do you like? I'll help you chase them." Hearing this, Lang Te is speechless, and he pulls out an unknown pill, shoving it into the student's mouth, saying, "Stop talking nonsense, just sleep, and I'll let you go afterward." After Tavanthum falls asleep, Lang Te is worried, thinking, what if something happens to him? The system reassures him that it's just a sedative, calming him down. The system knows how to please the customer, praising the host. "Your smile earlier was so cool. Full points, 10 out of 10 for being a creep." Lang Te's heart feels bitter. Who wants to be a creep if given a choice? But no matter what, he has completed the first mission. The truth proves he really has a talent for being a creep. At this moment, Tavanthum suddenly wakes up, mumbling, "Don't go." Lang Te is a bit confused. Does the drug not work? Plus, this guy's behavior seems off. The system hurriedly searches through its backpack, finally realizing, "Oops, I took the wrong medicine." On this side, Tavanthum has freed himself from the bindings and lunges at Lang Te, pinning him to the floor. He pulls down the blindfold and firmly holds the teen's hands. Lang Te panics. "What do you want to do?" "I'll tell you. A creep like me dares to do anything." But those words don't even register with the top student. Lang Te can't help but curse under his breath. This guy is like a dog. Why does he bite when he talks? The system quickly covers the host's eyes, saying, "I didn't expect this 18+ situation. Just try your best. I'll go back and ask for guidance from the leader." Sure enough, karma comes quickly. Our Lang Te just hit the floor and offered himself up, mouth wolf down, the victim also being the perpetrator, exhausted and passed out on the floor, while the perpetrator is also the victim. Lang Te is speechless, thinking, "This guy. What's going on here? The system is totally chill, just a sedative, comforting and all." The system really knows how to please its customers, praising the host. "That smile of yours was so cool. Full marks, 10 out of 10. Total creep factor." My heart is like bitterly aching. Who would want to be a creep if given the choice? But no matter what, you've already completed your first mission. The truth is, you really have a talent for being a creep. At this moment, Tavanthum suddenly wakes up, mumbling, "Don't go." Lang Te is a bit confused, like, is the drug not working? Huh? Plus, this guy's behavior is kinda off. The system quickly searches through the backpack, looking totally lost. Oops, it grabbed the wrong drug. Over here, Tavanthum has freed himself from the bindings, lunging at Lang Te and pinning him to the floor. He reaches out to pull the blindfold down, then firmly holds the boy's hands. Lang Te is panicking, like, "What are you trying to do?" "I'm telling you, a creep like me would dare to do anything." But those words don't even register with the nerd. Lang Te can't help but curse under his breath. "This dude is like a dog. Why does he bite right away?" The system quickly covers the host's eyes. Like, "I did not expect this 18+ situation. Just try your best. I'll go back and ask for instructions from the boss." Sure enough, karma hits fast. Our Lang Te just hit the floor and offered himself up, wolfing down the situation. The victim is also the perpetrator, exhausted and passed out on the floor, while the perpetrator is also the victim. Lang Te is speechless, like, "This guy, oh my god, the karma hit fast, y'all." Our Lang Te just hit the stage and totally gave himself up, wolfing down the drama, and now he's the victim. At the same time, he's the culprit, lying exhausted on the floor, while the culprit is also the victim. Lang Tae is speechless. Like, who is this person? Oh my god, SAO can just bully you once and that's it, but they keep bullying BA non-stop. After the flower of cucumber was shattered, the new system returned to Lang Tae and exploded directly. Do you even know how to come back to SAO? Do you know I have to? Sacrifice like this? What's the mission this time? The system hurriedly admits its mistake. Actually, I came back early, but the leader said my mission wasn't stable. They told me to go train. Lang Tae didn't want to waste words. Thankfully, I learned that if I took the medicine in a daze, you definitely wouldn't be able to handle it. At this moment, the school bell rang, and Lang Tae suddenly remembered that he had skipped school for an entire day. The homeroom teacher is a strict uncle. You gotta hurry back. Over here, Ta Van Tham is slowly waking up. He just feels like his head is being hammered in his head. There are some scenes that are hard to describe. Ta Van Tham's gaze turns dark. How dare you tie me up and drug me? You better not let me find you. You're the first person to dare to do that to me. This teenager is the 1,000-year rabbit spirit of the heavenly realm, who was exiled to the human world for secretly eating carrots to complete a mission. I thought that stopping the main character from meeting the secondary character would be a small matter, but unexpectedly, on the first day out, I was beaten to a pulp. Lang Tae just returned to class and was called to the teacher's room for a lecture. He sincerely admits his mistake, but the homeroom teacher still punished him to write lines 3 times. At this moment, Ta Van Tham also arrived, but the teacher's attitude over there is completely different. Must be that you're not feeling well. That's why you didn't come to class. Do you want to go to the infirmary for a checkup? Lang Tae feels like he's been seriously injured again. How is this unfair treatment? No wonder you're a study genius. Even skipping school, the teacher finds an excuse for you. Over here, the bald homeroom teacher keeps lecturing. Today I checked the cameras from 1 to 4 p.m. You didn't show up in class at all. Where on earth did you go? This made Ta Van Tham's gaze darken. This person wasn't in class from 1 to 4 p.m. either. Lang Tae's heart tightens. The homeroom teacher continues. Don't think I don't know you were hiding behind the mountain secretly smoking. Hearing this, Lang Tae's eyes light up. Right, behind the mountain. Ta Van Tham smirks, thinking everything is written all over your face, yet you still pretend to lie. But the homeroom teacher doesn't know the inside story, just angry that the troublemaker student is so brazen. The homeroom teacher angrily punishes Lang Tae to clean the toilets. So, Lang Tae returns to the painful scene of the little flower. Brave sacrifice, you start to wonder if you have some fate with this room full of stuff. At this moment, the door suddenly opens, and a cold voice rings out. Have you been here before? Lang Tae is scared out of his wits. He quickly turns to look at Ta Van Tham, who is darkly staring at him. Why are you stuttering and having a hard time talking? Lang Tae nervously steps back. What are you saying? Just now, you startled me. Ta Van Tham leans closer and speaks. Wouldn't you be tricked again? Lang Tae blushes and avoids Ta Van Tham's gaze. I don't understand what you're talking about. I still have to attend gym class. As soon as he finishes speaking, Ta Van Tham pushes him down. Lang Tae feels a bit scared but still tries to act tough. Are you sick or something? Ta Van Tham leans close to his ear. Stop pretending. You've been exposed long ago. The system quickly suggests signing a contract. Or are you pretending to faint? Lang Tae is speechless. Pretending to faint isn't a long-term plan. Plus, in the book, that smile. You think everything shows on your face, and yet you still try to lie. But the homeroom teacher doesn't know the whole story, just mad that a troublemaker is still acting all high and mighty. The teacher blows up and punishes Lang Tae to go clean the restroom. So, Lang Tae is back at the scene of the tragic little flower. Sacrificing heroically, he starts to wonder if he has some kind of fate with this room full of stuff. Just then, the door suddenly swings open, and a cold voice rings out. Had he been here before? Lang Tae is totally freaked out. He quickly turns to see Ta Van Tham looking at him with a dark expression. Why is he stuttering and having such a hard time talking? Lang Tae nervously backs away. What are you saying? You just scared me. Ta Van Tham leans in close. And if he speaks, won't he just trick me again? Lang Tae blushes and avoids Ta Van Tham's gaze. I don't understand what you're talking about. I still have to join gym class. As soon as he finishes speaking, Ta Van Tham pushes him down. Lang Tae feels a bit scared, but still tries to act tough. Are you sick or something? Ta Van Tham leans in close to his ear. Stop pretending, you've already been exposed. Quick. Thinking suggests you pretend to faint. Lang Tae is speechless. Pretending to faint isn't a long-term plan. Plus, in the book, what if this plot twist messes everything up? What should I do, right? So, Lang Tae decided to play it cool and leaned in closer to Ta Van Tham, thinking, aren't we doing this? But that could totally be misunderstood. I mean, I don't really get what you're saying, but oh my god, you look so good. I wouldn't even care if it actually happened. Nothing happened though. After saying that, Leng Tae waited to see Ta Van Thumb's reaction, but he didn't move at all. He was about to take a risk, but as soon as he moved his hand, that guy pushed it back down. You can deny it all you want, but dude, just don't let me catch you. If I do, the consequences will be serious. After saying that, he turned around and left, and Leng Tae finally let out a sigh of relief. Just then, there was a noise nearby, and a guy popped out from behind a pile of stuff. Hey, you must be Leng Tae, right? I'm Man Gyach. I just transferred here, and the homeroom teacher asked me to come help you get your school supplies. Leng Tae cursed in his mind. Why is my luck so terrible? Just when I got rid of the male lead, here comes the male supporting character. And who knows how long this guy has been here. He probably heard our whole conversation. And Ta Van Thumb didn't set his character up right, so Leng Tae decided to probe a little and asked Man Gyat, did you hear anything? Man Gyat looked confused and said, what? Aren't you the only one here? Hearing that, Leng Tae felt relieved, and the two of them headed back to class together. Leng Tae completely didn't realize that Man Gyach was staring at him intently, like, Leng Tae, you're so charming on the outside but innocent on the inside. This whole contradictory vibe is just too interesting. After class, Leng Tae went to pick up a delivery, but this package seemed way too big. He had no idea what the original owner ordered when it arrived. When he opened it, both he and the system were stunned. Oh my god, the original owner is such a weirdo. This can't be a custom doll made to look like Man Gyach, right? Just then, Ta Van Thum happened to walk over and saw Leng Tae's package. He smirked and said, aren't you going to confess? Leng Tae's face turned bright red like, confess what? What? Ta Van Thum shook his phone in his hand. I heard the school forum hasn't had any hot topics for a while. Why don't you be the main character for once? Leng Tae immediately bristled. You dare? Ta Van Thum grinned slyly and said, tell me the truth, or I'll put you on the hot topic list. Leng Tae was about to explode. Ta Van Thum, you're pushing me. After making up his mind, Leng Tae shouted, this XXX doll is based on your proportions. The size and muscles are all from you, dude. Is that satisfactory for you, Papa? The people around them went silent. Leng Tae was sweating bullets and continued, if you're not satisfied, we can take it back and fix it. Ta Van Thumb's face turned as dark as a pot, and he had to be called out loud. Leng Tae was also getting nervous. His head was shaking like crazy, and sure enough, the next second, a big hand reached out to cover his mouth. Shut up, Bunny. You want me to shut up? That's you. Ta Van Thumb let go. Is it you or not? You know in your heart no matter what your goal is. I won't let you off the hook. Leng Tae smirked. What's the story, genius? Just remember to delete those photos, okay? After sending him away, Leng Tae happily said to the system, finally, I get you. About that, remember to delete the photo. After sending everyone away, Leng Tae happily tells the system, finally, I understand you. What does being a champion even mean? And right now, the system reminds you that you have your next mission tonight. So, Leng Tae, following his dad, attends a casual party, replacing the main character as a server at this event. He sees someone. A foreign man is deliberately making things difficult for him. Does he even know how expensive these leather shoes are? His manager. Who is he? He better not deduct all of today's salary from him. Leng Tae quickly thinks on his feet and throws a gem at the guy. The man slips, and Leng Tae hurriedly pulls Gyach to a secluded spot. He kindly reassures a few people. Foreign men here are usually arrogant, don't mind them. Gyach indicates it's all good, he's got this. I've seen this happen many times. Leng Tae thinks for a moment. And it's true, this kind of thing happens often. At our school, Gyach is shocked to hear that. At our school, are you saying there's bullying? Seizing the opportunity, our precious Leng Tae splashes dirty water at Ta Van Thum. It's Ta Van Thum. With a seemingly dignified appearance but a deceitful inside, blah blah, 12A, 4 pages, wouldn't be enough to cover all his words. The flowery language slanders the main character, but on this side of the feud, Ta Van Thum is also involved. Dad comes to the banquet, and Van Thum is attending this kind of social event for the first time. Remember to make more friends. Ta Van Thum nods. I understand now, father. He originally didn't want to come here, but after hearing the butler say that the young master of the Lung family would also be attending, that's why he agreed to go. At this moment, Ta Van Thum has spotted Leng Tae, but the guy next to him, who am I? Am I a friend, or the one he secretly likes? In another corner, Leng Tae is happily listening. The system announces congratulations to the host for completing the mission to ruin Ta Van Thum's image. In Gyach's heart, at the banquet, Leng Tae feels this mission is simpler than the first one. But why does he feel? Like his whole body is itching? The system sighs, oh no, the character set up for you is allergic to wine. Hearing this, Leng Tae completely loses his cool. This is a disaster. At this moment, Leng Tae is hiding in the restroom, staring blankly at himself in the mirror. How did it come to this? Even more thrilling. Ta Van Thum just happens to walk into the restroom. Lung Tae instantly turns to stone. In his heart, there are only two words. Oh no. His body is like a little rabbit. The worst situation he ever thought of was one day being turned into spicy rabbit dish, but he never imagined the situation in front of him would happen. Ta Van Thum locks the restroom door, arrogantly asking Lung Tae, "What game are you trying to play? What's with the tail and ears?" Lung Tae is startled and quickly backs away. Has he never seen magic? Ta Van Thum smiles wickedly. The tail suddenly appears. Oh, interesting. Do you really think that just because you don't admit it, what you did with me will just be erased? At this moment, Lung Tae is too scared to retort. Ta Van Thum reaches out to play with his rabbit ears, then leans in closer, asking, "What do you say, little rabbit?" Lung Tae's face turns bright red. "Let go of me first!" Seeing this, Ta Van Thum's gaze darkens. "What if I don't?" After saying that, he reaches out and grabs Lung Tae's rabbit tail. "This is what you owe me. Understand? This rabbit ear feels so soft. How did I not know my schoolmate is a little rabbit, huh?" The moment the little tail is grabbed, Lung Tae starts to tremble all over. Right now, even words escape me. Ta Van Thum smiles, a smile that blooms from within him. He really is like a little bunny. Lung Tae's gaze suddenly falters because of Ta Van Thum's hand. It has wandered down to the area under the tail, and our genius is demonstrating how to play with our precious little bunny Lung Tae. Facing the fact that he can't protect the bunny's modesty, he mentions allergies, so Lung Tae is exposed. The desire to show off his bunny ears is more tragic than being caught by Ta Van Thum at this moment, who finds this look incredibly intriguing. Not only is he caressing the ears, teasing the little tail, but he also wants to go deeper. You know, the ears are sensitive spots for bunnies. So Lung Tae can't hold back. He lunges forward and bites Ta Van Thum's chest, leaving Ta Van Thum utterly shocked. It's the first time he's seen a bunny bite someone. The strength is really nothing. Hasn't he been fed? Lung Tae is bold, fearless, standing there saying, "I'm just cosplaying. It's just that the props are too realistic. Genius, you're so smart. Like, don't you know you can't say inappropriate things?" At this moment, Lung Tae's heart is about to explode. He doesn't want to turn this youthful story into a fantasy tale. Just then, there's a knock at the door outside. Is someone digging a tunnel in there? Hurry up and come out. "I can't hold it anymore." Ta Van Thum smirks wickedly, directly pulling Lung Tae into the nearby restroom. With a sign saying under repair, someone from outside storms in, furious. What the hell is this? 3 Vs, 2 are under repair. He definitely won't come to this cursed place again. The man has no idea that inside the room, a little bunny show is happening. Ta Van Thum smirks. His lips curve, clearly very pleased with his masterpiece. Lung Tae's tiny hands are now tied behind his legs, kneeling on the toilet lid, his little mouth crying out, "Ta Van Thum, let me go. What do you want?" Ta Van Thum seriously observes this little bunny crying pitifully. Finally, his excited gaze lands on the tail that's wagging non-stop. The next second, with no mercy, he playfully teases, "This tail prop of yours is so realistic." Lung Tae is stunned, still trying to process it. Then, what happens next yanks his reason back. Ta Van Thum's gaze is as sly as a hungry wolf. Not bad. I love eating bunny tails the most. Lung Tae is confused about why things are developing this way. Is what he did earlier not enough to disgust him? Does he need to level up? So Lung Tae struggles. He sits up straight. "Genius, do you really like to find me for that kind of thing? Do you actually have feelings for me? You can just say it directly after all. You're so handsome." Ta Van Thum feels like this little bunny is really fun to play with. He ambiguously asks back, "Guess what?" Lung Tae curses silently in his heart. Luckily at this moment, the ringtone of Ta Van Thum's phone rings. Dad Ta calls for him to hurry back to the banquet hall. There are some people he wants to introduce. You, Ta Van Thum, can only regretfully let the little bunny go this time. Next time, he'll eat roasted bunny tails. After Ta Van Thum leaves, only our little bunny is left crying out in despair. Ta Van Thum, "Hurry and let me go." The little bunny truly doesn't understand Ta Van Thum as the main character in the book. He's always described as distant, untouched by the mundane. Why has he turned into someone who seeks revenge? He's always described as distant, untouched by the mundane. So why has he turned into someone who seeks revenge? The little schemer is bullying the bunny like this, showing none of that cold flower charm. The system really wants to comfort you, but the leader called it to go have tea. So the system irresponsibly decides to bail, and you, my dear, take care of yourself. Earlier, we talked about the bunny getting teased by Ta Van Thum so badly. Not only did he see it, the bunny's ears were also aggressively teased at the little tail. The disaster from last night made the bunny resolve to never drink again. Then, seeing the announcement about the school's anniversary coming up, the system announces your third mission. Your next task is to sabotage the upcoming play of Manhwa and Ta Van Tham. Leng Te is determined this time not to let anything unexpected happen. First, he secretly steals Ta Van Tham's script. Then he messes with his bike, and now there's just one last step left, which is to secretly take a shower photo of Ta Van Tham and spread it on the school forum. But right now, he also needs to shower before heading into the public bathroom. Leng Te is a bit puzzled as to why everyone isn't using this bathroom, but privacy is nice too. The bunny, Leng Te, doesn't think too much about it, and just when he's happily splashing around, suddenly he hears the sound of water flowing from behind. When Leng Te curiously turns to look, he discovers that the person is none other than Ta Van Tham. Talk about fate. He hasn't even thought of a way to sneak a shot, and here comes Ta Van Tham all on his own. The bunny wants to do something sneaky but is mesmerized by the other's figure, unable to help but swallow a gulp. Leng Te takes out his phone, aims it at Ta Van Tham, and just as the shutter clicks, he panics. He forgot to turn off the sound, and Ta Van Tham's gaze turns icy. Before Leng Te knows what to do, Ta Van Tham has already stepped up next to him. Oh, taking sneaky pics of others is a new hobby. Of yours, huh? Leng Te is so flustered he can't even speak, and that muscle is just too much. At this moment, Ta Van Tham suddenly leans in close to Leng Te, asking why he's taking sneaky photos of him. Leng Te hides the phone behind his back, refusing to admit he was taking sneaky shots. After saying that, he hugs himself, telling him to back off, or he'll scream. Ta Van Tham raises an eyebrow, saying he should shout and see if anyone comes. This side of the bathroom has been booked by him, and everyone else has gone to other public showers. Then Leng Te realizes he just shot himself in the foot. No wonder no one's here. Sorry, I didn't know I was right outside. But Ta Van Tham isn't planning to let him go. You think you can come and go as you please? You took my script, messed with my bike, and now you're taking sneaky photos of me. On the surface, you're blocking me from getting close to Manhwa, but in reality, you've left a lot of openings, causing everything to fail. What is your ultimate goal? Are you trying to get close to me on purpose? The bunny Leng Te is left speechless. If you want to call me dumb, just say it straight, don't beat around the bush. Hearing this, Ta Van Tham remembers something. Right, you always talk to that system of yours. What's up with that? Upon hearing the question, both the system and the bunny are stunned by Leng Te's expression. Ta Van Tham realizes he guessed right. He kindly, I messed up and got caught by him, and now the system feels like its mechanical life is about to crash, so it pushes me. It urges me to think of a way out, or else I won't even pass the internship phase. That cold gaze from him is so annoying. This system is totally useless. I can only rely on myself. I tiptoe and lean in close to Ta Van. You know I'm a little bunny, so it shouldn't be hard to imagine things beyond the ordinary. Ta Van smiles with a deep meaning. How could I possibly overlook a cute and interesting little bunny like you? What are you hiding? What are you hiding? Leng Te tilts his head. I've said everything I needed to say, now I choose to stay silent. Ta Van's gaze deepens. You can keep quiet, but I have my ways to make you talk. After saying that, he grabs Leng Te's chin. The little bunny is still stiff. What? Leng Te tilts his head. I've said everything I needed to say, and now I choose to stay silent. Ta Van Tham's gaze darkens on him. Your mouth isn't a good thing, you know? He teases, and Leng Te's tears are forced out. You have issues. Oh, Ta Van, you pulled your hand back. I can guess what you're trying to accomplish, right? Like using your clumsy plan to drive a wedge between me and Manhwa. Leng Te is shocked, mouth agape. No way. He figured it out. Ta Van turns away. Too bad I'm not an NPC in your world. I won't let you succeed. Leng Te is dumbfounded, feeling like this mission is way too hard. The hosts in other comics have golden fingers that easily win. The system didn't expect things to unfold like this. It comforts me. Leng Te, host, now is not the time to get tangled up in this. We need to think of a way quickly. Leng Te feels that if things with Ta Van aren't going smoothly, he can only change his target. So, while Manhwa is out of class, he sneaks over to his seat. The book says Manhwa is deeply in love with Ta Van, so he just needs to borrow Ta Van's name to write a love letter to him. Then their relationship will rocket forward. Just when Leng Te is feeling pleased, Manhwa appears behind him. Leng Te, what are you doing? Leng Te quickly switches gears, hastily pulling out the letter. Actually, it was Ta Van who told me to give this letter to you. In the past, I misunderstood him. Ta Van is not only handsome and accomplished, but in terms of feelings, he must be sincere. After reading the letter, a blush appears on Manhwa's face. He has feelings for me? Leng Te, right now, I want to reply to him. Can you come with me? Lang Tae is dazed. Do I have to go too? Lang Tae is still in a daze, completely unaware of Man Jiak's strange gaze. The love letter from Tavan, the handwriting is also similar. Things are getting more and more interesting. Meanwhile, while Tavan is reading, Man Jiak and Lang Tae find him. Man Jiak, upon arrival, goes straight to Tavan. I've read your letter. You're very outstanding and nice, but I already have someone I like. Lang Tae is the one he likes. Hearing this, Lang Tae is stunned. What the heck is going on? This story is not following logic. How did it turn out like this? At this moment, Man Jiak gently holds Lang Tae's hands. From the first time I met you, I liked you. The little bunny is shaken by these words. Man Jiak pretends not to see Lang Tae's reaction and continues. Man Jiak continues and Lang Tae is trembling. What are you doing? Lang Tae quickly jumps to the side and takes out the letter. Actually, it was Tavan Tham who asked me to give this letter to you. Before, I misunderstood him. Tavan Tham is not only handsome and accomplished, but also in terms of feelings. He must be a sincere person. After reading the letter, a blush unexpectedly appears on Man Jiak's face. Ta has feelings for me. Lang Tae, right now, I want to reply to him. Can you come with me? Lang Tae is stunned. Do I have to go too? Lang Tae is still in a daze, completely unaware of Man Jiak's strange gaze. The love letter from Tavan Tham, the handwriting looks similar. Everything is getting more and more interesting. Meanwhile, while Tavan Tham is reading, Man Jiak and Lang Tae find him. As soon as they arrive, Man Jiak says straight out, Tavan Tham, I've read your letter. You're very outstanding and nice, but I already have someone I like. Lang Tae is the one I like. Hearing this, Lang Tae is dumbfounded. What the heck? This story is totally out of logic. How did it turn out like this? At this moment, Man Jiak gently holds both of Lang Tae's hands. From the first time I met you, I liked you. The little bunny is scared by these words, trembling, while Man Jiak pretends not to see his reaction and continues to say what I said, scaring him to tremble, while Man Jiak pretends not to see his reaction, continues to say what I said. It's all genuine, and if I scared you, I'm really sorry. Lang Tae's face went through every possible emotion from awkward to anxious. Especially since on the other side, Tavan Tham had that hungry look in his eyes like he wanted to eat a bunny. Oh no. Right now, I gotta make a quick getaway. Seeing your reaction, Man Jiak smirked and took off running. He really looked like a little bunny. After running a bit, Lang Tae still couldn't wrap his head around why Man Jiak confessed to him. What's going on between them? Or is it just him? Lang Tae hadn't figured it out yet. Then he heard a voice behind him. The problem can be big or small. Hearing that familiar voice, Lang Tae was totally startled. When did Tavan Tham get here? What did he mean by that? Tavan Tham leaned in closer to Lang Tae. I can help you, but you need to have something worthy for me to help. The little bunny felt super wronged. What does he want? Tavan Tham told him not to rush home after school. He'd find out soon enough. So after school, Lang Tae stood on stage, confused. What? He wants me to dress up as a girl and play Man Jiak in the play? Tavan Tham smiled. It's all good. I'm not forcing you. You can still back out now. Lang Tae looked at the women's clothes hanging on the rack. He was cursing Tavan Tham's ancestors in his mind. In the end, he decided to just go for it. My head could roll, blood could spill, but the story can't fall apart. He had to rely on these clothes to revive himself. The little bunny went backstage to change. You wait for me here. But this dress, no matter how hard Lang Tae tried, he just couldn't wear it. At that moment, Tavan Tham walked in. Why aren't you done yet? The little bunny fluffed up. Why are you coming in here? Looking at the scene in front of him, Tavan Tham's gaze darkened. The collarbone, the shoulders, that waist. He couldn't help it. He leaned in closer. Do you need me to help you, little bunny? Without waiting for Lang Tae to agree, he jumped right in. While doing it, Tavan Tham asked, Where did your tail come from? Lang Tae shot him a fierce look. Don't ask questions you shouldn't. Tavan Tham huffed, feeling annoyed. He was determined to teach this naughty little bunny a lesson. Lang Tae was startled by this sudden action. He winced in pain. Tavan Tham pulled back his hand, very satisfied, licking his fingers. Not bad, that's how you should behave. By the time Lang Tae finished changing and stepped outside, all his classmates were praising him for looking so beautiful. It was like he stepped right out of a fairy tale. Lang Tae looked at the dress he was wearing, not sure how to act. So he picked up the script, seriously studying the character he was playing, a savior who uses a kiss to awaken the sleeping prince. After reading the script, Lang Tae felt so embarrassed he fluffed up. Who wrote this terrible script? So here comes the fluffy love triangle for our little bunny. Why do both the main guy and the bottom guy have feelings for him? At this moment, the little bunny was practicing his lines, playing the female lead, battling the curse to save the prince. In the end, will he succeed in rescuing the prince? Lang Tae lifted his skirt and walked over to Tavan Tham. Hamlet, my dear, I've come to visit you. After all, the audience wouldn't see. Just to revive him, the little bunny goes backstage to change clothes. You wait for me here, but this dress, no matter how hard Lang Tae tries, he just can't wear it. At this moment, Ta Van Thom also walks in. Why are you not done yet? The little bunny fluffs up. Why did you come in here? Looking at the scene? In front of him, Ta Van Thom's gaze darkens. The collarbone, the shoulders, this waist, he can't hold back. Leans in close. Do you need me to help you, little bunny? After saying that, without waiting for Lang Tae to agree, he directly takes action. Oh my god, Ta Van Thom just asked. Where did you and your tail even come from? Lang Tae turned around, looking fierce. If it's something you shouldn't ask, then don't. Lang Tae shot back at Ta Van Thom, who huffed, clearly not happy. He decided to teach this naughty little bunny a lesson. Lang Tae was startled by the sudden move. He let out an annoyed yelp. Ta Van Thom pulled back his hand, super satisfied, licking his fingers. Not bad, now that's more like it. When Lang Tae finished changing and stepped out, all his classmates were raving about how beautiful he looked. He totally fit the character, like a princess straight out of a fairy tale. Lang Tae looked at the dress he was wearing, unsure of how to perform. So, he grabbed the script and seriously studied the character he was playing, a savior who awakens the sleeping prince with a kiss. After reading the script, Lang Tae was so embarrassed he fluffed up. Who wrote this terrible script? And here comes the fluffy love triangle with our little bunny. Why do both the main guy and the main girl have feelings for him? Right now, the bunny was practicing his lines, playing the female lead, battling the curse to save the prince. In the end, will he successfully rescue the prince? Lang Tae lifted his dress and walked over to Ta Van Thom. Hamlet, my dear, I've come to see you. I mean, the audience can't see, right? So, the fluffy love triangle of the little bunny is here. Why do both the main guy and the main girl have feelings for you? Right now, the little bunny is practicing lines, playing the female lead, fighting against the curse to save the prince. In the end, will he successfully rescue the prince? Lang Tae lifts his skirt, stepping next to Ta Van Thom. Hamlet, my dear, I've come to visit you. After all, the audience can't see. With the curse to save the prince. In the end, did he manage to rescue the prince or what? Lang Tae lifts his dress and steps over to Ta Van Thom. Hamlet, my dear, I'm here to visit you. I mean, the audience can't see this anyway. In this position, the little bunny decided to lean in close to Ta Van Thom's face. Instead of kissing, it was more like getting a little closer. And at that moment, Ta Van Thom spoke up, saying he was really nervous. Hearing that, Lang Tae was stunned. He wasn't nervous at all. But after hearing the question, he suddenly felt tense. Luckily, at that moment, someone shouted, Lang Tae, someone is looking for you. He quickly stood up straight. That call felt like it saved his life. So, Lang Tae joyfully told everyone to disperse, saying they should all take a break because he needed some time to find his feelings. After leaving the rehearsal room, Lang Tae sighed in exhaustion. He hadn't even relaxed yet. Just then, he saw the person looking for him was Meng Jue. Meng Jue looked at him with those pitiful eyes. I heard you took over my role. Even though you're playing a female part, you seem to fit it really well. It was like a match made in heaven with Ta Van Thom. No wonder after I confessed you ran away. Hearing that, Lang Tae broke out in a cold sweat. I don't like him. Meng Jue reached out to wipe away the non-existent tears. So, do you hate me? Lang Tae, confused, shook his head. No, I don't hate you. Hearing that, Meng Jue's eyes lit up as he stepped closer, grabbing Lang Tae's hand. So, does that mean I still have a chance? Lang Tae, can you give me a chance? No. Lang Tae felt speechless. Why are you hitting yourself with a rock like this? At that moment, one sentence was enough, right? Both of them were stunned. Ta Van Thom, feeling a bit annoyed, reminded Lang Tae that everyone was waiting for him. Poor Lang Tae let out a small "oh" and turned to leave. As he did, Ta Van Thom shot a warning glance at Meng Jue. Meng Jue wasn't backing down either. The atmosphere between them was like thunder before a storm. Finally, Meng Jue smirked and said, He's really interesting, isn't he? Ta Van Thom shot him a cold glance and replied, Not related to you. Back at the party, Ta Van Thom leaned in close to Lang Tae and whispered, I suddenly feel regretful. Besides acting, you have to agree to my other requests. Hearing this, the little bunny fluffed up in anger. Why are you saying you won't keep your word? After saying that, Lang Tae stood up abruptly. Our deal ends here. Unexpectedly, Ta Van Thom reached out to hold Lang Tae back. What are you doing? Then, the entire audience below the stage gasped in shock. The princess and the prince really loved their job. The kiss was the perfect ending. Ta Van Thom compromised, saying, All right, this time I can have a meal with Meng Jue. Next time, the little bunny was furious, cursing silently at that annoying two-faced person. In reality, Lang Tae knew very well that Ta Van Thom didn't like Meng Jue. He was just using the deal to tease him. If this continued, the plot would definitely fall apart. Even if he completed the tasks the system required, it would be useless. He had to think of a way. The book mentioned that Ta Van Tham was cold on the outside but warm on the inside, touched by Meng Jue's beauty and kindness. When he volunteered at the orphanage, it was really moving. Although this part was at the end of the story, given the current situation, he couldn't help but speed things up. Just in time, tomorrow was Saturday, and Lang Tae decided to send a message to arrange for the two of them to meet at the orphanage near the Ta family. Ta Van Tham looked at the pile of clothes. "Are you really going to keep your word?" Lang Tae stood up abruptly. "Our deal ends here." But then, Ta Van Tham reached out and stopped him. "Where do you think you're going?" The entire audience below the stage gasped in shock. The princess and the prince are really into their roles, ending with a kiss. Ta Van Tham compromised, saying, "Fine, this time I can have a meal with Man Jue. Next time though, the bunny will be so mad, cursing that annoying two-faced guy." Deep down, Lang Tae knew Ta Van Tham didn't like Man Jue. He was just teasing him under the guise of a deal. If this keeps up, the plot is definitely gonna fall apart. Even if he completes the tasks the system requires, it'll be pointless. He has to think of a way. The book said, Ta Van Tham, cold on the outside but warm on the inside, was touched by Man Jue's beauty and kindness. When he volunteered at the orphanage, it was so moving. Although this part comes later in the story, given the current situation, he couldn't help but speed things up. Just right, tomorrow is Saturday. Lang Tae decided to text those two to meet up at the orphanage near the Ta family's place. Ta Van Tham looked at the pile of clothes. The beautiful and kind-hearted Man Jue. When he volunteers at the orphanage, it's so touching. Even though this part is at the end of the story, looking at the current situation, he can't help but speed things up. Just in time, tomorrow is Saturday. Lang Tae decides to send a message to those two to meet at the orphanage by the Ta family's house. Ta Van Tham looks at the pile of clothes, decides to send a message to those two to meet tomorrow at the orphanage by the Ta family's place. Ta Van Tham looks at the pile of clothes. "My outfit clearly shows my dissatisfaction, and it seems like all my clothes are outdated. The colors are too dark." The butler, Lin, looks a bit skeptical hearing this. "Isn't it true that before, whenever Madam bought something for you, you just wore it? Plus, you don't even like bright clothes." And hearing this, the butler's eyes light up. "Young master, are you going on a date tomorrow?" Ta Van Tham smirks. "It's not just a little bunny wanting to meet me for a date." While Ta Van Tham is busy picking out clothes for tomorrow's meeting, Man Jue just got off work and walks in, only to catch this scene. Parents arguing, the woman loudly criticizing, "Is there really a man as useless as you in this world?" The man angrily shouts, "If it weren't for you taking my money for your first love, would I be in this situation? I don't even want to live in this house anymore." After saying that, he turns his anger towards Man Jue. "You little brat, don't block my way." As soon as dad leaves, mom slaps Man Jue. "What time do you think it is for you to come home? Just like your father, useless without money." Man Jue's cold, fierce gaze turns towards his mother, but the next moment, his expression changes, and he obediently accepts it. "I'm sorry, Mom, I know I was wrong, please don't be angry." The next morning, at the orphanage, Man Jue is reading a fairy tale about a princess and a prince to the kids. Outside, the sound of a car rings out, and Lang Tae looks towards the sound, feeling delighted. Ta Van Tham is here, the book says. The moment Ta Van Tham's heart is moved by Man Jue is right here in this orphanage. Meanwhile, a little boy is crying non-stop. "I've lost my shoes!" Man Jue kneels down in front of the boy, comforting him. "Don't worry, little buddy, can I help you find a pair of shoes?" Hearing this, the boy's eyes light up. Yes, he thinks this big brother is really handsome and gentle. Lang Tae also thinks that a gentle piece of trash like this could definitely make Ta Van Tham fall for him. So he keeps wishing Ta Van Tham would hurry up and see Man Jue, but unexpectedly, Ta Van Tham just coldly looks at them. Then, raising an eyebrow, "You even invited Man Jue?" Lang Tae is confused. What's going on? Is Ta Van Tham's reaction a bit too cold? But in the end, he still. Is Ta Van Tham's reaction a bit too cold? But in the end, he still